This is the banks of the Leeds to Liverpool Canal at Wigan. Up there is the canal leading to Liverpool, some 35 miles away. Opposite us is the Leigh branch, which we're going to take. That leads down to the Bridgewater Canal, 7.5 miles. And this way is the way back to Leeds, 92 miles. Just around the corner here is the famous flight of 21 locks. The distance signs here are interesting. They have a unit called cycling minutes rather than miles. Well, we're a quarter of a mile into the along the branch canal. We've come to our first set of lock gates, and that's fine. But beyond it, I'm surprised to find the canal has been drained. It'll be interesting. I shall be able to walk along the canal path looking at the bottom of the canal. Presuming there's some repair work going on. I'll just give you a view of this. Oh, look at the heron down there. Heron walking across the... Plenty of wildlife here this morning. 5 little goslings there and the mother goose looking very anxiously on. On your right we've got one of the Wigan Flashes. There are 8 of these. They're a haven for wild bird life, and they're actually man-made. They were created actually by subsidence of the ground because of the mine workings underneath, and the ground sank. They partially filled them with some of the slag from the mining and allowed the rest to become nature reserves. So this is a very famous area for bird watching. A pretty area. Well, she's not very happy with me. Come on! And then look over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 goslings. And 3 more over here. Well, we're 2 miles in and it is just so peaceful, so quiet. Very few other people around. On our left is one of the Flashes. Nearly 5 miles in now. This is the way we've come. Complete peace and quiet. Nobody else here. I'll pan round. This is the way we're heading. It is just so still and peaceful. Looks like the remains of a bridge here on one side, but nothing on the other. For there are plenty of coal mines and power stations around here originally. It's a barge from the maintenance crew, but no sign of the crew. And a bridge up here. Another sign here, calibrated in bicycle minutes. Nothing for walking, nothing in distance, just bicycle minutes. This is the Marina at Plank Lane. We're 5.5 miles into the canal walk now. It's actually a craft moving on the canal. And here you can see the canal is up on a high embankment above one of the Flashes down there. That's the way we're going. Well, we're on the outskirts of Leigh now, so we're getting a few more industrial buildings. It's all very peaceful here. There's a boat moving on the canal here, coming towards us. And we're just on the 7-mile mark along the Leigh branch. Over on the other bank is obviously a mill, presumably converted now. And some canal boats here, just putting the spikes into more too. And this is the end of the Leigh branch of the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, looking back where we've come from. And here, marked by this hoist, is the junction with the Bridgewater Canal, which just continues on down, much wider, broader canal, and a lot older. The Bridgewater was completed in the 1760s, and the Leigh Canal was added some 50 years later. So the Leigh branch is just a mere 200 years old. Whereas the Bridgewater was the first of the industrial canals, designed by James Brindley. And we're going to just continue along this canal now from Leigh and take it and see how it goes. Well, I've just stopped and walked into Leigh town centre for some coffee and something to eat. It was interesting that here a bacon roll, which in Devon we would call a bacon bap, is here called a bacon barm. B-A-R-M. Not a term I've come across before. Anyway, it was good. A bacon roll and a cup of coffee should keep me going for the next few hours. Passing a small boatyard here, just on the outskirts of Leigh. And coming up on the far side is this wonderful old mill. Looks in good nick, so I suspect it's probably been converted to housing. They're wonderful buildings. Now that is impressive. Well, I've just been told that that's Butts Mill. Wonderful building. But then, almost opposite, there's another one. This is Brooklands Mill. These are just massive cathedrals to industry. And they've all been put to something really useful for housing. Nice places to live. And a few hundred yards further on, we're passing yet another mill. This one looks disused at the moment, but up there on the far end, you can't see it on here, the chimney is still standing. One that Fred Dibner did not get to demolishing. Passing another boatyard here, about a mile outside Leigh now. This is the way we're going to head. So picturesque. A little busier here, a few more people on the canal path, bikes, prams, people walking, but still splendid. Through the trees here on the left is yet another of these wonderful mills. In fact, there are a pair of mills right next to each other, with another surviving chimney stack. 11 miles out of Wigan, and here we see the winding gear for a mine, although it's not moving, so I suspect the mine is no longer in use. Just a relic of its industrial past. And that's the reason for the winding gear. It's part of the Ashley Green or Lancashire Mining Museum. "12 miles in from Wigan, and we're still out in the countryside. The sun's still shining. There are a few more people around, but it's midday, so one would expect that. And the walk is continuing to be a very pleasant experience. That was a pub called the Moorings, proper looking place, followed by a marina and a couple of fishermen. And the first we've seen on this canal. "14 miles in, 14 miles from Wigan. And you can tell by the traffic noise that there's a busy road here. We're just passing underneath one of the motorways. This is Worsley. And not a lot here, I don't think. It used to be a big coal mining area. This is where the Bridgewater Canal used to end when it was first built. It went from Worsley into Manchester. And the bit we just walked along up to Leigh was a later addition, about 5 years after, 1765. Now this is the turning to the right of the canal. If we look up to the left there, those were where the canal made entrances into the mines. Some nice little buildings here. Backing onto the motorway junction, unfortunately now. The colour of the water is from the iron oxides. They're doing their best to get rid of them by filtering the water and putting it back into the canal. We'll just go around the corner here. This is the corner that everybody photographs on this canal. Looking back up the path we've just walked down. Passing by a small boatyard. Barge over there called Pauline. These are all views around Worsley. So despite the fact that we've come through a very busy motorway junction, there are some rather lovely places here. Let's just go around and take you back the way I've just walked. Very picturesque. There's a folly that someone has built on the side of the canal here, a lighthouse. Just looking back the way we just walked. We're about 15.5 miles from Wigan at the moment. About 1.5 miles outside Worsley. Just passing Bridgewater Mill, now adapted for other industrial purposes. Come now to a turn in the river, and we're getting here a diversion off of the canal path. In fact, there is no canal path. It comes to this bit of industrial area, so I'll follow it down and rejoin the canal further down. We've come a couple of 100 yards now, and we have now got to the Manchester Ship Canal, where the Bridgewater Canal crosses it in this swing bridge, the Barton swing bridge. There's no walking track across that. We're looking now at the Manchester Ship Canal heading up into the city. I'll just do a pan round. And there's Barton Road Bridge, which I suspect we'll have to go up and go across. That's the view. We're up on the Barton Road swing bridge, looking across at the Barton Canal swing bridge as it crosses the Manchester Ship Canal. The road bridge is the only way you can cross the Ship Canal at this point, so hopefully we'll pick up the trail the other side. Well, we've crossed the road bridge, very poorly signed, but the footpath, if you follow your nose, is fairly straightforward back onto the canal. So we've now crossed the Manchester Ship Canal. Just give you a pan round. And we'll continue on our way past these geese. Well, we're 4 miles outside of Worsley now, about 18 miles from Wigan, and we've entered quite a rural area again, although behind these trees there are industrial units and shopping centres. But surprisingly, there's absolutely nobody on this part of the canal. No boats, no people walking or running. Got it completely to myself, and yet we're so close to the centre of Manchester. Just to give you a complete picture of this walk, we're now in the middle of heavy rain. Well, it's still raining. We've come down to a junction now of waters meeting. The canal continues round to the right and goes on to Cheshire, and through to Runcorn, and up to the left here is the one that goes into the city centre. That would have been the original first stage of the canal from Worsley, where Bridgewater had his mines and he wanted to ship the coal into the city centre. The other sections were built 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years after this first bit. Now it looks as though we have to go up on that bridge that crosses over, and there should be a path the other side. We're up on the bridge now, and we're looking up to the arm of the canal that goes up towards the Trafford Centre and then to the city centre. I'll just pan round and show you the Runcorn arm under the bridge there. And this is the arm going back up to Worsley that we've just come down, and you can probably see the water, the rain dancing on the water. It's raining quite hard at the moment. Well, it is hammering it down now. It's dancing on the canal here. Fortunately, I found a bridge to shelter under. We're backing off as we film. Well, we're 6.5 miles from Worsley. We're passing through Trafford Park, and on our right is a well-known football stadium. We know that the Duke of Bridgewater was clearly a football fan, because 250 years ago he routed his canal close to the stadium. Well, we crossed over the canal at the last bridge, and you can see now the tall buildings in Manchester city centre. It's all a bit industrial, but it's still a very pleasant walk, and it's still raining. Almost 8 miles out from Worsley now. We passed through Trafford Park, and for the last couple of miles the tram has been running alongside us. The tram that takes you right the way into Piccadilly. So if you have had enough of the walk and don't enjoy these built-up areas, there's an easy route into the city centre. It is still raining a little bit, not enough to bother anyone. A lot of noise of industry around us. There's a lot of building going on. If I swing around slowly, you'll see a lot of multi-storey buildings going up there, and we're looking back the way we've just walked up. Just about to pass under a wonderful brick-built viaduct, beautiful stone arches. I can't really show you very well on the camera. Here it is raining really hard now. In fact, there were hailstones a moment or two ago dancing on the path. But we'll take you through this bridge here, underneath the viaduct, and just look at this cast iron bridge here, this red one. Amazing. What a beautiful construction. Looking back through the rainstorm now at that red cast iron bridge, and there's yet more brick built viaducts going right away around into the corner. The viaduct, Victorian viaduct with a modern up-to-date electric tram passing along it, the train passing in front of it on the lower course, and we're still on the Bridgewater Canal. Well, the industrial scene here. You've got the railway viaducts, you've got the iron bridge, you've got the canal boats, and you've got the canal path here. So I'm out alongside it. This is a fascinating area. You've got the viaduct with the trams running on it. At the lower level you can just see the top of a diesel engine on the main railway. Coming around here, there's a small bridge here, and then there's a lot of iron work up the top there. On the right here, it's a small area for the boats. And that's the end of this walk. It's been 9 miles from Worsley and around 23 miles from Wigan, and I put in another mile or so on various diversions. It's been a fantastic walk and a fitting climax to end up in Manchester with its wonderful industrial history. See you on the next walk.